In a faraway kingdom there lived a king named Jalaluddin. He had gold, silver, grand palaces, and loyal servants, everything a ruler could desire, yet peace eluded him. His courtiers praised him daily, but deep inside, he felt empty. He wandered the palace halls at night, unable to sleep, and spent his days staring silently at the sky. Though surrounded by people ready to serve, the king often sat alone, lost in thought, wondering why he felt so restless. Why did he have everything, but not the peace of heart? One day, a simple-looking dervish arrived at the palace gates. He wore no fancy clothes, showed no fear or pride, only peace on his face and light in his eyes. The palace guard stopped him, but the dervish said calmly, "I've come to deliver a message to the king." They laughed at him, yet within moments the same dervish was standing before the king. The king stared in surprise. The man didn't bow, nor did he tremble. The dervish spoke gently, "O king, you have everything, yet why are you empty?" The king was taken aback. No one had ever asked him such a thing. He felt something deep and different in the dervish's words. That night, King Jalaluddin didn't call for his servants or hold court. Instead, he walked in the palace garden with the dervish. The moon shone brightly, and all around was silent. The king asked, "If I have everything, why do I still feel empty inside?" The dervish smiled gently and replied, "Have you ever heard the cries of the poor? Shared someone's burden? Or have you only listened to praises of your greatness?" The king fell silent. The dervish said, "Peace is not found in possessions. It lives in the work of the heart." That night, and those words etched themselves into the king's soul. For the first time he wondered, had he gained everything yet lost the most important thing? The next morning the king made a decision. He would not just hear the dervish's words but live them. He removed his crown, wore simple clothes, and walked through the city streets with the dervish. In the market he saw the pain of his people. Some had no medicine, others' children were hungry, and a few elderly sat alone with tired eyes. The dervish said nothing. He simply showed. The king's heart grew heavy. For the first time he felt helpless. "I never knew things like this happened in my kingdom," he whispered. The dervish quietly replied, "When the eyes awaken, the heart begins to speak." Back at the palace, King Jalaluddin locked himself in a quiet chamber. He sat in silence, thinking deeply. Then he called for a scribe and issued a new royal decree. "From today, the first right in this kingdom belongs to those who have nothing, the lonely, the sick, the hungry." He gathered the courtiers and seated the dervish beside him. All were shocked, but there was resolve in the king's eyes. The king announced he would now use the royal wealth to serve the people. For the first time, the dervish smiled and said, "Now you have begun the true kingdom, the rule of the heart." At that moment the king felt something more powerful than the throne, the power of service. Months passed. The city began to change. From the royal treasury, healing centers, schools, and shelters for the poor were built. People wondered how a king could become so soft-hearted. Jalaluddin now sat among the people, listened to their worries, ate with them. He no longer looked like a ruler. He looked like a servant of the people. One day the dervish silently prepared to leave. The king asked him, "Why are you leaving me?" The dervish replied, "Because you no longer need me. You have learned to hear the voice of your own heart." The king embraced him tightly, eyes full of tears. That day, that farewell, became the most precious moment of Jalaluddin's life. He was no longer just a king. He had become a ruler of hearts. Moral of the story: true kingship is not in ruling lands or collecting gold. It lies in winning hearts, serving the people, and listening to the voice of one's own conscience. A king who leads with love, humility, and justice becomes greater than any throne.